he wasn't an agent, which is like, would you trust a CIA statement like that person's not a spy? No, like they're not supposed to tell the truth about that.
Well, I mean, they're bound by ethics.
We're going live. That was a really good one, Brian.
Yeah.
Well, those guys took an oath.
Yeah.
Okay, we are live on YouTube. We are recording video and audio. We got a great show, even though it's just you two. And here we go. Just give me a minute. We can start.
God, that Grok story is... It's crazy, and also, like, why Will Stansel?
Well, we'll talk about that. But I agree.
Jesus. Like...
All right, I'll start the commercial. If you guys are ready.
We are ready.
Okay.
Support for Wrong About Everything comes from Minnesota's credit unions. Credit unions are locally based, member-owned financial cooperatives that return earnings to members through higher savings rates, lower loan rates, and reduced fees. Visit mncun.org for more information.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Wrong About Everything podcast. I am GOP strategist and Twin City Sugar, Brian McDaniel.
I am Democratic strategist and the Puerto Rican Heat, Javier Murillo.
And we are
Wrong about everything. It's just us.
Just the two. Just the two of us.
Yes. Where's the lady?
Amy had a work thing pop up. She's very busy. Evidently, I am not. So I'm more expendable than she is. So just me and Javier today, and our theme song was written and performed by Justin Bell from J Bell and the Lazy Susan Band, and I got to see him play this weekend. He was playing 10 minutes away from the cabin.
Oh,
so that was fun.
I haven't seen J Bell in forever.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, should we get into it? No, wait. We got bills to pay.
No, we got to talk about. We have to welcome everybody to the Minnesota Credit Union Network Studios, deep within the recesses of MBC Studios here in Northeast Minneapolis. We got producer Gabe Noah in the other room. And we hope that you are watching us on the YouTubes, because we're getting more and more people. We're trying to migrate you all there so you can see what we look like and show you some video from time to time. But
comment, share, subscribe, all the things.
All the things everyone asks you to do. You all, if you're listening to us now, we're probably not the only podcast you've ever listened to, and they always want you to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. So appreciate that,
dude. I think someone might, and I think Donald Trump might want to call Brad Sean Bryant.
I think he might. There's nothing to see here.
Maybe Pam Bondi wants to call.
Our good friends at Bradshaw and Bryant, their entire team of attorneys and staff is dedicated to providing the legal advice you need, combined with the service and personal attention you deserve. If you have questions about how they can assist you with a personal injury, wrongful death, or criminal defense matter, do not hesitate to contact them. Consultations are free. Please contact them at 800-770-7008 or at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. They have the list right on their desk.
Yep.
So I was not here last week, so I don't know how much you guys talked about the suddenly benign Epstein files.
It's a hoax.
It's a Javier, you care about this? That makes you a loser.
Yeah, apparently, along with Donald Trump's most ardent supporters. I was just listening to some polling on this, and someone else was remarking on, like, of all things to unite the country, God, this is further signs of the apocalypse is that we're all in agreement that the government is covering something up, that things should be released, that Donald Trump is doing a bad job on this. Like this is the thing that's going to bring the country together.
And we want to know who's on that list. Yeah, and this is what's so ridiculous about this whole thing. Why it's news again, or still, is that, one thing that has been a criticism or a celebration for congressional Republicans is how much they have stuck with the president on the big beautiful bill, whether it helped their district or not, and many other things. But we have finally found the issue that will get Speaker Mike Johnson and many other Republicans to break from Donald Trump, and it is this all of a sudden dismissal of the Epstein list and files. And so I'll read from an article. Speaker Mike Johnson is calling for the Department of Justice to release all of its information on Jeffrey Epstein. And wants Attorney General Pam Bondi to explain previous statements on the matter. There might be a national security reason to withhold that information. I'm not naive. I know that there's stuff. But then why would you have talked about it, kind of holding it up a little bit as a threat to the people who are on the list? Why would you do that if there's no list? None of us believe that, by the way. I mean, Javier, you don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Well, this is what we talked about a little last week, is that part of the thing is that there's been a caricature of like this idea that somehow he had a black book that like, here are all my crimes and here are all my co-conspirators. Like that Epstein himself had some sort of black book. That's a dumb. And so now they are narrowly like saying, denying that, like, well, there's no list like that. Well, of course not. But there is a list of people, right, that the FBI would have accumulated while doing this investigation. They picked up thousands of hours of videotapes. Thousands of hours. Now, so I've thought about this a lot because so now there's a discharge petition in Congress that already has enough Republican votes, but that takes like 30 days to like force a vote. Because yesterday, Ro Khanna, we're recording Wednesday, but yesterday Ro Khanna and Democrats twice tried to get Republicans on record and Republicans voted against releasing Epstein files. But now there's a discharge petition that will call on the DOJ to do that. There are already enough Republican votes for it. And this morning, Donald Trump sent out one of his bleats that basically said, like, called people obsessed with Epstein his former supporters, and that they're weaklings. And if you're a weakling, like, I don't want your support anymore. But yesterday, people were rightly pointing out that Democrats have not been focused on this. Yeah. Democrats have not been focused on this, and I thought about it this way. So Naomi Klein has this book Doppelganger that she wrote about the pandemic and during the time of the pandemic, and it was both about her relationship with this other woman named Klein, who she was always getting confused with, who got red pilled and went down and killed and stuff. But one of the things that the book explores is the way that our brains depend, like, because through polarization our brains got closed off to different things. So if you believe that the coronavirus might have escaped from a lab, then I can't believe that. So and then it means we don't look into it at all. That was sort of a prime example. And this is something where I admit that I think, like, because I've thought about it myself, like, why. I just thought, like, well, these crazies are obsessed with it, so clearly it must be. But now what we have is Pam Bondi either lied when she said it was on her desk. It was on her desk, and she's about to release it. And by the way, she put out a binder that said Volume 1, right? And so I'm beginning to think that there was literally a pile of things on her desk that she was procrastinating reading. She finally got around to reading them and then called the president, like, Mr. President, I've made a big mistake.
That is what the black Sharpie is for. If there's somebody too hot to handle on there, cross them off then, and we want to know who else is there. Because here's the thing, I mean, we all have ideas in our minds who is on there, but there's no way that in all those files they couldn't compile a list.
Right.
I mean, the list isn't, like you said, just, from,
I would hope at a minimum that
A to Z.
Right.
They're not going to have it like that. But it broke up Bill Gates' marriage, right?
Right.
I mean, we know that this stuff went on. You can't have victims, which we have,
Right.
Without victimizers.
Right.
And it wasn't just Ghislaine Maxwell. It wasn't just Jeffrey Epstein and maybe their buddy Bill Gates. No, it wasn't just those three people. We know, and Prince Andrew, but we know that who all these. We know that this exists, and it's insulting to then do the 1984 bullshit here, where the thing you said yesterday isn't the thing you said today. And I'm super curious, kind of as now the political world's warming up a little bit again, so we're going to start seeing people at fundraisers and whatnot. But I'm super curious to see who is going to toe the line in the Republican Party that this is all of a sudden a big nothing burger, and who's gonna honestly speak about this.
Look, and I think now, I feel very comfortable asserting that Donald Trump has laid out what the issue is. He's compared, now he says, so the story has changed from, like they said, well, there are no files. There's nothing to release, and now it's like it's a Democratic hoax, and he likens it to the Steele dossier, to what he calls the Russian hoax, like a long list of things. And what do all those things have in common? They're about him. You guys, the pedophile phone calls were coming from inside the house.
Well, and I even have a different opinion on that. Anyone who's listening to this program knows that I certainly have no trouble talking about my problems with Donald Trump in every way, shape, and form. But I'm one of the people that, based on how he spoke of this prior to this, that was not the actions of a man who's worried about what is in those files as it pertains to him.
No, it's the actions of a man who is a sociopath and doesn't think that he'll ever be held accountable for anything, because for the most part he's not.
Yeah.
Prove
him wrong. Once.
Right.
Yeah.
No, and so this is like weirdly the first thing that where like the base got so invested in it because he hyped it up, and he's like,
he told us to. They're just doing what he told them to. That list, and to the degree that it had any effect on me, I think Bill Clinton's on that list. I think there are big names on that list, Hollywood and whatnot.
And let me just go on
Allegedly.
the record. Let me just go on the record. If Bill Clinton's on it, if there's video of Bill Clinton,
no one cares now.
Post it. I do not care. Whoever, like, if there is evidence of people committing heinous crimes, have at it. Like, what we're seeing is that the facts are right now, there's factually a cover-up happening.
Yeah.
They're literally saying we have things we will not show you. It's literally a cover-up. So, like, take all the context clues, boys and girls. It seems that Donald Trump and or his friends will be most hurt by the release of these files. So
the other thing I've done on this program and many others is be a big supporter of Israel. And it's pretty hard to not deduce that this is connected to Mossad and this is connected to Netanyahu. I mean, and the only way to prove it wrong is to release it. So I commend
Ryan. The Mossad has put out a statement saying that he's not related to that he was never employed.
They
by
couldn't
that,
say it
which,
if it wasn't. They wouldn't do that. They took an oath.
The CIA is always confirming or denying who is a spy and who's not.
Yeah,
all you got to do is ask them.
Sometimes.
Is so and so a spy? So one thing's undeniable, like that. Now, when you like, I'm forced to go down these rabbit holes now. One thing is undeniable: Jeffrey Epstein was an extremely rich man, and no one knows why or how. There was a time when he was not a rich man.
He was just a teacher. He came from very humble beginnings and was a teacher in like Manhattan, I assume.
Yeah, and there was a time he became a rich man. And what happened? It unclear. So
it was the Victoria's Secret guy, wasn't it?
I got to butt in real quick here.
Yeah.
He was giving people tax advice.
Sure.
So they gave him like $150 million.
Because he didn't have the right degrees for that. I mean, if you've watched Filthy Rich or any of the other documentaries or read the books, I've read a couple of them. He made friends through the fancy school that he taught at, and I know that he had a connection to, and I'm not going to remember his name, but the old man who owns Victoria's Secret,
Les Wexner.
Yeah, Les Wexner, and that he vouched for him in several different ways. But that's how you get rich. That's not how you get wealthy.
Mega rich.
Yeah, that's not wealthy.
That's not like buy an island rich.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously there was something up, but most of the time, if you're a spy, you don't get rich doing that either. Too ostentatious, unless you're James Bond type thing, hide in plain sight.
Selling arms. Who knows? But it's fascinating just where we are at in this in this story, because they are like, it turns out there are consequences to putting people like random bloggers as heads of the FBI. There are consequences to them and to the Republic, because Dan Bongino, like the deputy director of the FBI, was one of the biggest pushers of the whole Epstein story.
Well, and let me kind of pose a question to you this way. So there have been many people within the administration who have proven themselves to not be immune to buffoonery. How is it that they
that is a very
I took a note.
Yes, there are a lot of people who have proven themselves to not be immune to buffoonery.
Exactly.
That is the most passive definition of Trumpism I've ever heard.
Sure. But if let me take your side on this. If the administration is full of buffoons who don't know what they're doing and can't be trusted, how hasn't the list leaked? How hasn't the information leaked? I mean, I'm playing devil's advocate to myself a little bit, but I'm just shocked that they were able to keep a lid on it, whatever it is. And if it is nothing, how didn't that leak either?
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, this is wild and they just keep feeding the story too, and it's like it's if you're digging out, when you're in a hole, just maybe stop digging. But Donald Trump every day says something new about like, stop talking about this.
I'm gonna get in trouble with my people. So who do you think we're gonna bomb to try to change the narrative?
Oh, I mean, I guess Iran again.
Well, we like the Ukraine now.
Yeah, that also. Yeah. Yes. Moscow.
Well, but once again, and this is how just none of this makes sense. Okay, so Trump and Putin are fighting, and we have, the Republicans have long been accused of have been infiltrated by Putin's people. Why haven't Putin's people disclosed the list? Why wouldn't he want to put a wedge between us and Israel, or us and whomever? It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense, and I hesitate to say proud of the American public for kind of not buying into this, and I do appreciate Speaker Mike Johnson on this, but I do think that the American public and you and I, this is something where people just want to know. This is a TMZ type thing, not a constitutional crisis. It's a TMZ crisis, but all the same, it's both.
Yeah, no, and to be clear now, like, this is abundantly clear, and to all the people, the folks who have been focused on this, we thank you for having focused on it, because here's the thing. There's no politician in the world more connected to Jeffrey Epstein than Donald Trump. Period. There are others who've like phone on flight, whatever, but actual friends tied to Ghislaine Maxwell. Oh, by the way, Ghislaine Maxwell's going to get off on this. Meaning, she's go free.
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
she's going to go free.
Yes, we're both choosing our words carefully, but I agree, because here's the thing: we have victims. We 100% know we have victims. You can't have victims without victimizers, and it wasn't just Ghislaine, Bill Gates, Prince Andrew and
Bill Clinton and Trump
and Epstein. We know that this was a much wider thing based on the flight logs and whatnot. So, but yes, if I were on her litigation team or her appeals team, why wouldn't you make us make?
They've already filed. They've already filed appeal, like, because you have the president of the United States saying that the whole thing was a hoax. That the Jeffrey Epstein thing is now it went from being like a convict, like well, no, he was never convicted because he committed suicide.
They couldn't say that if it wasn't true.
Wait, 3 minutes missing from the video. The Wired. The stories are bananas now. Like this is like if like, you know, Bigfoot just sort of showed up at the Mall of America and you're like, hey, sorry, I was here all along. I've been hiding. Like it's pretty, like 3 minutes, almost 3 full minutes.
The best take on Bigfoot is by now deceased Minnesota comedian Mitch Hedberg, where he says, I think Bigfoot is just blurry. But yes, there's 3 minutes gone. You would think that everybody involved with this would be better at this. You get a double to do or not do whatever you need to do or not do, and then you know, Bob's your uncle, and you release the video. Right. But it's insulting once again to say, oh, those 3 minutes, nothing happened.
Gabe, you were telling us, what is the software they use to edit the video?
They used Adobe Premiere Pro. They can see it in the metadata. Like, it's just this stuff. I use it. You know what I mean?
You use it to make our little reels and stuff?
Yeah. So I just like the idea of the CIA going, hey, take out that part where they, where our guy kills him. Just edit out that part, and then we're good.
Hey, you can see Eddie.
Oh, yeah, you see him kill him then.
Come on.
You got to get rid of that.
Do they do the? I wonder if they do the trick where you put the background music that is trending.
Once again. If there's nobody on the list, there's probably no reason to kill yourself.
Well, also the video, by the way, it shows like an angle of his front door. Like, no, we have this video of his front door, so he's clearly killed himself.
Right, and previously we knew from that there was an obvious 1 minute missing, but when they looked at the metadata, that Wired has an article that I think is just today or yesterday saying that the metadata shows that there's a lot more missing. Like like there is something very like.
Well, this just in, Trump has said that wasn't Hunter's laptop.
And also, just to go on the Epstein thing again, wouldn't you love to see an interview of like the guy he was cellmates with, who has actually killed people, by the giant muscular ex-cop who had killed people?
Yeah, didn't they take him? Wasn't he gone for that 5 minutes or something?
That's what we were told. It wasn't on the video, so it's hard to know.
Yeah, but
it's like that's part. Like, just why isn't there a soundbite of what was going on beforehand? Even how is this guy so hidden?
Yeah. Well, lucky
they took an oath, as you said.
Lucky for us, Donald Trump is finding the real culprit, Jim Comey.
This was interesting. I was,
as much as I hate James Comey, like seriously, we don't need another investigation.
His daughter, Comey's daughter, was one of the main attorneys for P. Diddy.
Oh,
absolutely, like one of the main ones. So
I guess she's a good attorney.
Oh well.
Or a good deep state
having followed Diddy, not to get us on having followed that trial very closely, as much as you kind of can from the outside, the verdict surprised me 0%. Not that I don't think he did all those things. I think he absolutely did.
They didn't prove it.
But what they couldn't prove was that, Diddy's victims weren't okay with, because there were texts and emails and voicemails, and yes, we all know people in domestic violence that they absolutely will say things to placate their abuser. So I'm not saying that I don't think that he did everything they said he did. I do think he did it, but in a court of law, I think that there was enough reasonable doubt that they got him on what they could, and they didn't have enough on the other stuff.
Well, let's move to some more pleasant news.
Yeah, let's do some pleasant news. So we have some
I don't know why that's funny, but it's just so dark.
Yeah. Well, this isn't really pleasant either, but
It's good.
no, no,
What are
no.
we talking about?
It's good news. So, we want to give a health update on Senator John Hoffman, who was shot 9 times by the guy we will not name, and fortunately his wife and his daughter survived, but he's been discharged from the ICU. He was there for 3 weeks, or probably 4 weeks now at this point. So and we hear from other senators that are getting to see him that he is taking numerous walks every day, that his spirit seems to be high. He's giving people crap, and for the people who are questioning whether he will come back to the Senate, from what I'm hearing, you're not going to be able to keep him away, and that's fantastic.
He should come back. We need to work on some walk-on music for him, because first, like, the dude is like Terminator. This
He got shot the same amount of times as 50 Cent. He's 50 Cent from Minnesota.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah,
he's awesome.
Yeah, and he said, "I'll do you one better and survive it."
Yeah, no, that's wild. That's a miracle. That's amazing.
And his wife was he was shot 9 times. His wife was shot 8 times.
Mm-hmm. And she's been not well, but she was able to be discharged a few weeks before him.
Yeah.
He's not discharged. He just got moved out of the ICU to more appropriate care level.
But Senator Hoffman, we wish you the best, and everyone is still thinking of you, and wishing you the best, and look forward to seeing you back at work.
And this is very painful for people involved. So, but the political world must go on, and the people of 34B need to have a sitting representative. That is Melissa Hortman's former seat. The special election has been called by Governor Walz, and I believe it is August 19th. I have it here. Pardon me, talk amongst yourselves.
Well, we have a few candidates who have Brooklyn Park City Council member. I don't know how to pronounce his first name. It's XP.
XP. That's actually his initials.
Oh, so it's XP Lee.
Yes.
That's what we should say. Okay.
At least that's how it was explained to me.
XP Lee, and there's
Christian Erickson.
Yeah. So it'll be August 12th.
August 12th. And people have until July 15th, which was yesterday, to file with the Secretary of State. So,
so that's all the candidates then. Okay. Yeah, this is rough. I don't know how you even campaign. Yeah.
Well, you campaign to carry on her legacy, and obviously I don't know what connection the people who have filed have with Speaker Hortman, but if no Republican filed, that makes me happy. Yeah. You can't stop someone from filing, but you certainly don't have to put any weight behind it. And this is something where I think it would just be an extraordinary, even with the narrow margin or the no margin, it would be just a real ghoulish thing to do. Let them fill out her term, and a Republican's not going to win that seat anyway.
It just feels like. It's just another moment in this confirmation that all actually happened, and that it's not reversible, and it's unbelievable.
Similarly, at some point, the DFL caucus is going to have to pick a new leader, and that is also going to be extremely painful. So for anyone who's involved in that decision, I think about that, and I promise I won't ask you who it's going to be. Yeah. So just do what you can. The shooter was indicted federally as well. He also wrote out a confession, which has been officially leaked, and you can read it. And it reads, obviously I don't know anything about this guy. I don't know if he's crazy or if he's astute or whatever it is. But the confession was written like somebody who wants to set up an insanity defense.
Yeah.
Because he was saying that he was told to do this by Governor Walz, and that Tim Walz wanted to be a senator. Of course, what does that have to do with Hoffman and Hortman? So anyway, I'm not going to give it any more oxygen than just that. It's out there. If you want to read it, you can. But this guy should have no support or friends, and he doesn't.
Now we're going on to, well, we have two more crazy stories.
Yeah,
we have the Grok story.
The Grok story. So I'm trying to find.
So in the last week, we talked about last week about how Grok went on anti-Semitic rants and was praising Hitler and all those things. And then then later there was an even weirder story. Maybe not even weirder. What's weirder than but an equally weird story about targeted harassment that Grok did aimed at
Will Stansel.
Will Stansel,
which is a name if you're in politics in Minnesota, you know that name. I don't know him personally, but I know lots of people that know him extremely well. He has run for office, and he's
he just ran for the House.
Yeah, he's a political the Katie Jones seat, right? So it's a very recognizable name. And I spoke with one of my younger coworkers. Because I was asking some questions about how Grok worked and all that, because I'm an old man. So I was asking him some questions about it, and he did not know Will Stansel, but he knew Will Stansel very well from Twitter.
Yes.
That without having any political connection to him at all, he knew him as somebody who is just part of that community in a very big way, and that Will and the right would kind of give it to each other on Twitter.
But in fairness, Will annoys a lot of people, not just the right.
Like I said, I know people that know him.
Part of the story is Grok is horrible to someone that a lot of people find distasteful, but no one should be subjected to Grok was putting together these rape fantasies.
It was rape fantasies. It was giving instructions
on how to get in his house.
How to pick the lock on his door.
Yeah.
And but what I think is a little off is and the reason why this is possible on Grok and not on all of these other platforms is that the filters that kind of don't allow for this were turned off.
Right. Purposely turned off by Elon Musk.
So that allowed for this. But the one thing that I think is wrong is they're making it seem like, okay, Grok did this on its own. That's obviously not true.
Yeah, right.
People were egging it on to do this. So once again, it's not the technology. You can certainly debate whether the filters should have been off to allow for something like this.
I would say it more strongly than that. It shows how grossly irresponsible it is. We've been through some years of people talking about like that any sort of moderation or anything in the internet is censorship, right? That's how the right came to define that any attempt to regulating speech is bad, and it turns out if you just let something like Grok go and do whatever, and don't tell it not to go to extremist, racist websites or to white supremacists and whatever. Now it's being fed by all of these extremist websites, so that the language that it uses and the knowledge that it's producing, it's crowdsourced from a lot of horrible stuff. And so now you have Grok, right?
It was a choice.
Right.
This was a choice to allow something like this to happen. I have, kids in their low 20s and a daughter in high school still, and I'm terrified of what AI and deep fakes and all of these things. I mean, it's very dangerous, and it's something that just can't be allowed to flower. And let's just see where it goes. And I certainly understand people having concerns in many areas about censorship. But as we talked about when Twitter kicked Donald Trump off, is that Twitter is a private company and they can do whatever they want with it. So this was a choice, and a choice that that could have had horrific outcome, and still might.
Yeah, we actually don't
somebody.
know. Right. No, it's and if we're going to talk about things like that, as Elon Musk has as the public market square, public square. Is that what they say? There's a public square like that. That there are, there's a reason why. Yes, we have free speech in this country, but it's not without limits. You can't scream fire in a crowded theater unless there's a fire, because you will cause panic and it will cause destruction. That yes, your speech is restricted, and it's likened to this. When you have a lot of people in the world, when you think of people like the that assassin and a lot of other sick people, we don't need a multi-billion-dollar company with a very powerful software like Grok, encouraging people to pick the locks on someone's house because you don't like them.
This put Stancil in legit danger, and
exactly.
Can't have it.
It's wild.
I don't know how to state that any plainer than that, but. Will is a provocative person out there, but no one deserved this. So I hope that it dies down a little bit.
Can I introduce the next story as saying that I have said,
Yep.
I have thought for a long time now, I've looked back at the Donald Trump era and how he's unshameable, and people don't resign for things anymore, and how it seems almost quaint now that Al Franken resigned, given everything that people just do and they just sort of stick it out. Why is the only Democrat who's emulating that Senator Nicole Mitchell?
Well, off air, you heard my comparison, which I won't say here, but certainly, and one of the things that you and I talked about, just in a general sense, was that with Senator Al Franken, it almost seems quaint that he resigned after he had to face.
He was shamed
and face the music.
And this is what generally used to happen in society. When you do something shameful, you're shamed, and there's a consequence. Mm-hmm. And now people just stick it out. And the reason that Nicole Mitchell is back in the news is, I did not know this, but you informed me that there's video.
Yeah. So her trial started this week.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, like legit. As many times.
Is that where it came out?
Yes. Yes. So as many times as her her case has been delayed for one reason or another. Couldn't delay it anymore. It started this week, and it's something. Now, what we're reacting to specifically, and you can find it 100 different places on the internet, is that the body cam footage from the arresting officers. It's about the clip I saw was 15 minutes long, and in that 15 minutes, it shows them entering the house. It shows them going down into the basement. It shows them finding her. It looks like hiding in a laundry room, wearing, if she was holding a bag of money with a dollar sign on it, that was probably the only way it could be more cartoonish how she was dressed, all in black with a black stocking cap. She's an attorney. She's a military person.
She says, obviously, I'm not good at this.
Yeah, she says, obviously, I'm not good at this. She said lots of things. Now, I consider myself a law and order guy. I consider myself somebody who, certainly more than most, trusts police and whatnot. But I've instructed my kids, if you get into a situation where you feel like you're being questioned or arrested, you say one word, which is lawyer. And that's not to say, and you know why I say that? Because every police officer has told their kid to say that. Every prosecuting attorney has told that to their kid. Yeah. But even though she's an attorney, even though she was a military person, she couldn't stop talking. And it's all on the body cam, which is hilarious when you read about what her defense is. Her defense is saying that she was concerned about her mother-in-law, and that her mother-in-law is paranoid, so she wanted to sneak in and check on her, so that way the mother-in-law stepmother wouldn't feel paranoid, which makes no sense. And 1,000 times, hyperbole, more than a few times on the tape, she says she went there to get things. Well, that is burglary, and and the breaking and entering was a crowbar, it was a window, it was the dark of night, it was nowhere near her house, it was intentional, and that's like Diddy. There's some stuff that you're not going to be able to claim she didn't do. Now, the burglary, she can say, and they are saying this in court, that she didn't steal anything. Well, it's because she got caught. She got caught before she could do it. Remember, she was laying on the ground of her stepmother's room, which is how she got found. But she had laptops. She had, she says she was there to get her dad's ashes, and some other things. One of the hilarious parts of the body cam footage is as the police are talking to Mitchell still in the home, her stepmother just walks by like a drive-by shooting and just goes, "She wants money." And then keeps going. So that was a little bit of a levity in a not funny situation. But over and over and over again, she admits to breaking into her stepmother's house, and what the reasons were are relatively immaterial.
Yeah, it doesn't. It just. Yeah, and and the thing is, like when this story first happened, I think the fact that it was family, their father died, and all this, like there are situations of intense family passion where we all lose control and do stupid things, and so I could have empathy for doing an extremely stupid thing, like even the extremely stupid thing of breaking in. What I can't understand is once you've been caught, once you're and you're a public figure, the inability to have shame about it.
Yeah.
That's the part where you're like, okay. And to her Senate colleagues, like, now you've seen all this, like, come on. Just.
Yeah. As soon as I saw it, I just thought she's cooked. Because it's one thing to question intent, but it's almost, the body cam footage is sad just for the poor execution. It was much clumsier than I thought it was going to be, and I think that makes her even less sympathetic. And the people of Woodbury need, I think, to demand that she step down, so that way they can install someone to represent them who is able to be on committees, who can credibly speak on the floor. And whether it's Republican or Democrat is up to them, but this person is not able to represent them credibly in the Minnesota Senate any longer, and they need to do something about it.
Yeah.
Do you want to do plugs?
I don't think I have nothing to plug, but we do have new members of our Not a Dick Club. One, I don't remember if I said this one last week. No, I don't think we could have. John Benjamin Nemi.
Oh.
Nemi. Davin, that one we did last week. Nancy Hilden.
Oh.
Yeah. So thank you to Nancy and John. And let's just thank last week's as well, the most recent ones, Davin, Monica, and Lydia. We thank all of you. If you listen to the show, if you enjoy listening to the show, we've been doing this for almost 11 years, people. Like, this is a labor.
I think over 11 years. I think it was 11 years in May.
All right, there you go. 11 years. This is, we are OGs of podcasting, way before the manosphere. Yeah, and we're not the manliest of podcasts, so maybe bad comparison. But, we innovated. if you listen to the show, you enjoy the show, we appreciate it. We appreciate your time. We know many of you do. If you could afford to throw a few bucks in our direction, we would appreciate it. Production costs and such.
We take no money.
Brian and I don't, but we have a producer who has, mouths to feed at home. I
take the money.
He takes the money.
Well, I mean, don't be embarrassed about that.
There's equipment here.
Yeah, this is capitalism.
Opportunity cost as well.
Yeah, yes, and he has kids to feed, and whatever. I don't know. I don't know his life, but it's very expensive.
To my kids, I swear. Wait.
That's not sympathetic. Don't say that. But so if you can afford it and you're not contributing, you're kind of being a dick. So don't be a dick. Patreon.com/wrongaboutEverything podcast. We thank all of the members, the newest members of our Not a Dick Club. So we start with Spanks and Thanks. Or do you have something to plug?
A couple plugs. So obviously every Tuesday, Amy and I are on the BS show with Bob Sansevier. Please catch us there. And I want to put a plug in for your birthday.
Oh,
which is coming up. Happy birthday, Javi. Not today, but soon.
It's Friday.
So happy birthday, Javi.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet. Thank you.
And my wife just texted me asking if we're high. I don't know why.
But the hell?
Yeah.
No, we are not.
It's abusive.
I wish I was.
Yeah.
Now, Spanks and Thanks?
Spanks and Thanks.
I'll start. Yeah. So my thank goes to Minnesota firefighters, and there's a spank buried in here. Minnesota firefighters who are helping to put out the fires in Canada. And you've all seen the air has been hard to breathe. The sky has been gray because of the Canadian wildfires. But I said within there's a spank is because in this past week, as Jennifer Brooks of the Star Tribune wrote a lovely piece about this, the Republican delegation in Minnesota wrote a letter to Canada, basically saying, "Hey, take care of your fires. You're ruining our summer." And what is astounding about the letter is many things, but to me, the things that jump out, one is that there is no recognition one of the things that you do if your neighbor's house is on fire, if you're a good person, is you help them out. That's why I started out by thanking the firefighters. You know what these members of Congress did not do? Thank the Minnesota firefighters who are actually trying to do what they are not doing, which is to help. The other thing about this, and I know a little uncomfortable truth here, but we have a whole letter about this and Canadian wildfires and all this, and no mention of climate change. No mention of the fact that this is a man-made disaster, slow-moving disaster that is only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. And it's not just not the United States is one. I think Canada is the fourth or fifth largest exporter of fossil fuels, and we keep burning fossil fuels. This is just going to get worse. So here we are. That's my thank on the fires. And then because it's Trump days, so it's a double spank. On the importance of language, I will say. So I used to teach Latin American history. I was writing a dissertation, and I focused on this one period in history when there was a man by the name of General Vareliano Weyler in the Philippines who to put down the Philippine rebellions. This was in the late 19th century. To put down the Filipino rebellion, he developed this technique. This wartime technique, which is that he gathered the rural population that were rebelling. It was there were peasant rebellions, and those were he called them campos de concentración. That's where the term concentration camp comes from. It's from the late 19th century and from the Spanish colony of the Philippines. And I mention that as a preface to say that I will never say the cutesy name that people are trying to give to what is a concentration camp in the Everglades. This cutesy name, like referencing alligators, is bananas. There's nothing cute about it. There's nothing adorable about putting people in completely inhumane conditions and making it a joke. And that's what's happening. And further, what we are experiencing right now in this country is with the last big the budget bill that just passed, ICE now has a bigger budget than the U.S. Marines. There's an article in the Atlantic that people should take a look at about how morale is down in ICE within Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, and because people don't like them, because they have these quotas that they have to meet, and now they're not going after criminals. In fact, they are literally putting moving money resources away from investigating actual criminal undocumented immigrants to focus on gardeners and babysitters and all the people who a lot of people thought would not be touched by this, because the only way we're going to fix the problem of undocumented immigration is immigration reform. So I just want everyone to think about who they just got a lot of money to recruit new people. Who's going to join ICE now? Who willingly goes into ICE right now to sign up to be one of these guys who puts on masks because they're embarrassed and kidnaps people on the street? It's going to be the worst people in the world. We just gave enormous amount of money to the largest paramilitary operation that this country has ever seen, and maybe one of the largest paramilitary operations in the world, and nothing good will come of it. Mark my words. And so spank the concentration camp in the Everglades and spank the expansion of the paramilitary state.
All right. Well, I'm going to
lighten it up.
Well, maybe just not really, but they'll both be. I'm going to do a double thank, though neither of them are necessarily happy and peppy and bursting with love. So my first one is going to be to Teddy Bridgewater, who is the coach of the Miami Northwestern football, high school football down in Florida. The name Teddy Bridgewater probably sounds familiar to many of you because he was an NFL quarterback for over 10 years, spending most of that time as a Minnesota Viking. And then bounced around a couple other places. Well, he was their volunteer coach, and he got them to win a state championship. And he has now been suspended because it was found that he was paying for out of his own pocket Uber rides, meals, and other benefits to his players. Now, not like walking around money, but necessities, like to get them to and from school, to and from practice. For some of them that didn't have access to proper rehab equipment, he was providing for that.
He got suspended for this?
He got suspended for it. Now, what he did was wrong. Think of it this way, because another school probably doesn't have a coach that's a multimillionaire that's able to pay for those things. So what he did, I'm sure, is a clear violation of Florida high school rules. But I think he needs to also be celebrated. So that's why this is a thank, because he saw young men in need and became their coach. He didn't need to. He's got all the money in the world. He could have just been on a yacht somewhere. I hear there's an island for sale that I'm sure he could have put a bid on.
Pretty near there.
Might be pretty near there. But he didn't do that. What he did is he volunteered his time, and then he saw young men in the community that had needs, and then he satisfied them. And some of those people are going to probably have a chance at a good life that they might not have had but for that. So while he says, I never signed a contract, they can't suspend me, I don't really work there, which is kind of funny because I always say that about Concordia.
But were there any expensive things, like really extravagant things?
There's nothing that I have read or seen on TV that said it wasn't jewelry, it wasn't paying them to come.
I would bet money that there are other coaches doing the same thing because they're decent people.
I have no doubt.
Yeah.
And probably you could rustle up a coach that also is being a jackass with money about it too.
In my experience, my experience as a kid, most coaches are jackasses, but occasionally there's nice ones.
Well, you should have run faster. They would have been nicer to you. But in any
Thanks,
event,
Coach Cheeky Morphy.
I hope we don't find out that there was like some things going on that shouldn't have, that were purely pleasurable items. But from everything I'm seeing, Teddy Bridgewater volunteered his time and saw kids in need and helped fill that need. And I want to thank him for that. And more people need to take to see the people in their community as their someone that they need to have care and concern for. My second thank is going to be to Chicago Cubs legend, second baseman Ryne Sandberg. Now, anyone who knows baseball knows the name Ryne Sandberg. He's a Hall of Famer and somebody who was the player of my childhood, and Gabe, who grew up a partial Cubs fan as well, talks about Ryne Sandberg, how important he was. He is a legendary a ball player. He was a coach, and is still very much involved with the Cubs family. Well, he had been and still is fighting cancer, and it went into remission, and everyone was so happy for Rhino. But now he has put out a statement that while it doesn't say that it is worse, we know that his cancer is back, but he says he's continuing to fight, and he's looking forward to making the most of every day with his loving family and friends. So it is always sad when somebody who meant something to you and to millions of people passes away. Seems like under excruciating circumstances, but I just want to thank him for all the charity work he's done, what he meant to the community, what he meant to me and Gabe growing up. But Rhino, which is what they call them, number 23, you are thanked and loved. And with that, I am GOP strategist and Twin City Sugar, Brian McDaniel.
I am Democratic strategist and the Puerto Rican heat, Javier Murillo.
And we are
Wrong about everything.
everything.